Hi, in this video we are going to learn about common errors which we face during the React app development. I am Priyanka and welcome to the channel Coding Leader. First, we will learn about the errors which we face during the import of component. So, let's start. I am going to create one folder. Okay, common issues. Now I'm going to create one file, component a.js. Now let's create a function component. For that I'm going to use the snippet rfc. So we get function component a, which is returning component a. Save the file. Let's import this file into the app.js. Import component a from common issues component a.js. Let's use that component a. Component a. Yes, you can see it compiled successfully. Let's see the result. It is showing component a. The result we are getting as expected. Now switch to VS Code. Now I'm going to create one more file in common issues, component b.js. Now create a same function like component a using the snippet rfc, and this component returns component b. Save the file. Just remove the word default. Now let's import the component b in the app.js file. Import component b from component b.js. Now let's use that component b. And save the file. We are getting the error. It failed to compile, and getting the error in component b.js does not contain a default export imported as component b. So let's see what is the exact error is. Here is the button by which we can open the two files at the same time. So here is component A and component B. Here we have used the default, exporting default, and where it is exporting by naming. So to solve this error, just import it as. Save the file. Yeah, compiled successfully. We can see the result, component A and the component B. Now see the component A. I am going to create one more function, component with the name C, which returns. Okay, now we are getting the error. Only one default export allowed per module. In component a.js file, we can export default only one function. So I'm going to remove this default. So to import this function, we will use the same as component B, as we are importing the component a.js. So the changes is here. Save the file and use that component C. Now see, compile successfully. See the result. It is showing component A, component B, and component C. The one more important note is that if you are using a default export, you can use the another name to the function while importing. For example, here the name is component A. While importing, I can change the name also. For example, test component. Control S. See the result. Component A, component B, component C. But we cannot change the name for the component which are naming export. Okay, that is for the import error. Now we are going to learn about component name error. So for that, I am going to add one new file under common issue folder, counter.js. Now I am going to create class component. I am going to use the snippet RCA. If you want to the snippet, I have given the link in the description for how to install the snippet and how to use the snippet. Also, you get the link on the right top corner of the video. So here the counter class, I want constructor. I am going to use the snippet rconst. Constructor is ready and the state is count. Initial state is 0 and it returns this dot state dot count. Control S. Now I want to import this counter component in app.js file. So in app.js file, actually I'm not using this component, so I'm deleting. Import counter from common issues counter.js and use that counter. Save the file. Compile successfully. Now see the result. It is not showing anything. Press F12 or right click, inspect, click on console. Yeah, it is showing the error. And the error is the tag counter is unrecognized in this browser. If you mean to render a React component, start its name with a uppercase letter. Yeah, so in app.js, in React, the component name must be start with a capital letter. So change a small c to capital C, copy and save the file and see the result. Yeah, it's showing counter 0. So here we learn that if we want a component in a React, the name of component must be start with a capital letter. Now in counter.js, let's add one button, increment count button. Save the file and we get the error failed to compile because adjacent JSF element must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. It means the one component, here the counter component, will return only one component. Here it is written div and the button, these two components. So normally to resolve this error, what we do, we wrap save the file, see the result. Also we can use the shortcut for this react.fragment. Just write like that, save the file. It also works in Edge. So this is the way we remove this error. Now let's learn about our last but very important error. So for that, I want a functionality when I click on the increment count, the count of this get incremented by 1. So here is the function which will call increment count, and this dot setState count, this dot state dot count plus 1, call and click. Let's call this function this dot increment count. Save this. Here is the count and the increment button. Let's click on that. Cannot read property setState of undefined. So to solve this error, there are two ways. You have to bind this method, this dot increment count equal to this dot increment count dot bind this. Save. Now click on the increment count. It's updating to 1, 2, 3. Also the one more way is, I'm commenting this code, we can do the binding at the event dot bind this. Save. Also click 1, 2, 3. The one more way is by using the arrow function. Here is this dot increment count, and here is the increment count. Use the arrow function. Save the file, and it's 0, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And one more is use the arrow function at event. So, save. Now it's 0. Call 1, 2, 3. So this way we can solve this error. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe the channel.